Have you ever pondered the profound significance of hair and beards in ancient cultures? For many, these seemingly mundane features were not only an expression of personal style, but also a sign of honor, strength, and spiritual dedication. In the Old Testament, Hebrew men had a habit of growing their hair and beard, maintaining them at a certain length and beauty. Their hair represented honor, and their beard was a symbol of maturity and wisdom. In the laws of Moses, Israelite men were instructed not to shave off the hair on the sides of their heads or clip off the edges of their beards, a directive aimed at preventing the adoption of pagan customs. But there's a fascinating tale in the book of Ezekiel that goes against this trend. God commanded the prophet Ezekiel to cut his hair and shave his beard, dividing it into 3 parts. This unusual request wasn't just for the sake of a new hairstyle, but a symbolic act representing the fate of Jerusalem's inhabitants when judgment was passed. Imagine, if you will, the spectacle of a man of God, a prophet, standing in the public square, shaving his head and beard with a sharp knife. This act, which would have been painful and humiliating, was a dramatic display of obedience and prophecy. The hair and beard, once cut, were to be divided into 3 parts. 1/3 was burned inside the city, symbolizing those who would perish by famine and pestilence. Another third was scattered by the wind, representing those who would be pursued and killed by the sword. The final third was chopped with the knife, symbolizing those who would die in the besieged city. Yet a few strands were to be tucked away in Ezekiel's robe, a symbol of the remnant that would survive, protected by God. Some of these strands were also burned, showing that even among the survivors, some would face trials by fire. The story of Ezekiel and his hair is a vivid illustration of divine judgment. It shows us that God's judgment, while vast and complex, is also fair and just. It's not a hasty one-size-fits-all verdict, but a careful examination of each individual's actions and motivations. In conclusion, the tale of the prophet Ezekiel's hair and beard demonstrates the significance of personal sacrifice, obedience to divine instruction, and the symbolic representation of divine judgment. It reminds us that God's judgment is not only fair, but also meticulously detailed and individual-specific. It's a lesson in understanding the symbolism in biblical stories and how seemingly mundane elements can carry profound spiritual messages. So next time you think about hair and beards, remember Ezekiel, and consider the deeper meanings that these everyday features can hold in different contexts.